coming. Okay, now can you hear me? Y'all, I got my little microphone. It was green and then boof, it went away. Okay, so here we go again. Live with Lucy at 2:01. And I'm Lucy, Paper Glitter Glue. And today I'm showing you some ideas for potion bottles. Remember in the All Access Pass, my friend made these really funny little potion bottles. This is her witch's brew. Let me see. A bubbling blend of bat wings and spider legs. But I wanted to make it like it was surrounded by vines.
They're still saying no sound. I don't know why.
Okay. You should have sound now. Let me see. Ben, can you go downstairs and see if you get any sound?
There's no sound. I won't disturb anybody up here.
Okay. Let me figure out what to do. Let me go to my old sound system. Okay, do you hear me now? So let me know when you can hear me. Oh, good. Y'all, I'm sorry about my technological challenges. I thought I had them working better. So I'm using the MacBook, my computer sound, which isn't quite as good, but it's consistent and it works. So I'm going to start again. Live with Lucy. It's me. paperglitterglue.com. Y'all know. It's like the third time I've said it because, you know, it's actually take 3. Keisha said take 2, but it's really take 3. Okay, so this is what I consider my failure. I wanted to make it look like vines going around the bottle, and it just wouldn't stick, and I was like, oh, this is so ugly. Now, the cool thing is it actually looks good at night. I put a little thing of lights in it, and because the wire on the top is so small, we can just put the lid on, and I don't know if the lighting is enough to give you an idea. But anyway, it lights up at night, and with this spooky covering, which is Mod Podge, it's really, it looks kind of ethereal. It looks good at night. It looks not so good now. So anyway, I think I figured out what to do. Part of it was I used packing paper, and it wouldn't adhere to the glass. And then I saw a video and a lady used tissue paper and it's much lighter, so I think that will work. Okay, the first thing about potion bottles is you gotta have bottles and you gotta get the labels off. And getting the labels off is a pain. They always say that the, soak it in warm water and it'll come off. That's not exactly true. They use like stronger glues. A lot of time the glues are like, or hot glues, and that's not really going to dissolve in hot water, hot soapy water. So I tested out some things, and they all work. They may not work great, but they all work. Okay, so let me see more comments. Okay, so wait, I gotta push my camera up front so I know what I'm doing. So, oil. You can kind of coat the bottle with oil and let it soak in, and it will get the label off, but it's a mess. You know, like putting in I already have like all this oil on my hand just from picking up the bottle. So oil works. Goo Gone. Goo Gone works. It's kind of expensive, and I think they're better products, really. Also, this stuff has got, I think it's made with petroleum distillates, so it's kind of stinky and sort of poisonous. Not really bad, but you don't want to drink it because it'll cause what's called a pneumonitis, inflammation of the lungs, because you kind of inhale it. So it's dangerous, especially for little kids. I tried this stuff, a heavy-duty citrus degreaser, and it works, but you really need to soak the bottle. And if your bottles are big, you have to pour out all this product to soak it. And just squirting it and letting it sink in didn't seem to work very well. And here, remember, this is gentle enough for the ducks. So when they clean ducks in an oil spill, they use Dawn. Dawn really works, and you can soak it. It comes in big bottles. It's easy to soak, and leave it there, and then get a brush and kind of sometimes a paper towel once it's sort of dry, and peeling off the paper. This works. But this is what works by far the best. It's called Citrusolve. And, you know, this is not an affiliate. I don't have an affiliate for it. But it's hard to find. I drove around to 2 different places yesterday, and one was like online. They said they had it. And it's made out of orange peels. The chemical, we actually extracted it in a chemistry class I was in, limonene. We called it limonene. It might be limonene, Limonene. But anyway, it's a citrus oil, and it is a great solvent. But I don't know why it's so hard to find. Oh, and it smells so good too. So by far, this is the easiest. You pour a little on, wait a minute, you can get a paper towel and wipe it off, and it gets any kind of label off easily. So that would be really good. And yeah, so anyway, in terms of order of things that work, number 1, if you can find Citrusolve, and you can use stronger things. Somebody mentioned paint thinner. You could do that, but you know, that's kind of nasty to work with too. Whereas Citrusolve is not, and Dawn is not. So those are just my reactions, just my kind of suggestions for removing labels, because it's a problem. Nan said you need to put a hex on the label to get it off. I mean, that's how challenging they can be these days because they stick so intensely. Okay, so that's my first suggestion. And then next, where to get bottles. Well, you know what? The best bottles are like liquor bottles. And it's not something I have at my house or regularly obtain, you know. But I have a friend who, you know, they kind of experiment, and they gave me great bottles with great shapes, you know. So those are the ones I'm going to use for kind of my fancy one. But this is what is this one? This is a lemon juice bottle. And I think we're going to practice on this one. But this is a salt bottle, one of those salts that's got a grinder on top. That's a pretty bottle. I think this is vanilla. That's a good bottle. Oh, and in terms of getting labels, potion bottle labels, there are a lot of free places. One of the best free places for labels is at graphicsfairy.com. She has a lot of vintage images, and you know, she has a subscription, a membership site, but most of hers, you know, you can find great stuff online from Graphics Fairy for free. And you just download them easy. They're not in a library. They're not locked away. You could even take screenshots and print them out on her free stuff. So it's really good, graphicsfairy.com. And I think that's mostly what I wanted to go over. And then, oh, in terms of filling it, if you want to put liquids in it, just get some food color. I actually don't have any food color. I have some intense gel paste, and I didn't want to use that. I thought that might not dissolve quite as well. But the other thing is you can use your spray stains. The spray stains, just spritz a little in there. That's what I did for one of our projects last year. I filled a little, let me show you, this is so cute. This is of course it's a Tim Holtz thing. Of course it's not, they only do it for a year or two. This is a little Erlenmeyer flask. I just put a little water in it, some green stain, and then because I was going to keep it, I just hot glued the cork on. And here's another set of Tim Holtz ones, but you can find them at any of the hobby stores. They'll have some bottles, some little bottles. I love the little bottles. Okay, now I think I'm going to switch cameras, and I'm going to show you what I figured out for gluing things on. Actually, I'm going to move some bottles off because, you know, like when I talk, my hands kind of fly, and that means stuff falls over. And So I'm just going to dip down a minute. This one is so pretty. Square bottle. And I'm actually saving them for something tomorrow, assuming, oh, I'm sorry, my nose itches. Assuming I can find the product I'm looking for tomorrow, another potion bottle. But I really want to make mercury glass, and I'm going to try with just plain silver, shiny silver paint, but I think the best thing is something called looking glass or mirror glaze. So I'm going to try to find a better product. Again, I've been to 2 places and haven't found it, but I got a couple more leads I'm going to work on tonight. Okay, let's see. I'm going to put down a paper towel and rotate camera. You might see Alley Cat for a minute. She was very frustrated that she couldn't get to the, you know, the main part. She couldn't truly photobomb us. Okay, this is my bottle, and this is what I found out. So I twisted all these little pieces of packing paper, and they didn't conform. They just wouldn't stick to it the way I wanted to, and then I got glue all over, and it was awful. So then I looked at the video that inspired me, and she did tissue paper. And tissue paper is easy to come by, very inexpensive, and it's much more pliable than the packing paper was. And then the other thing I thought about, because they're hard to paint, one, you could use the color that you want. You could get some green tissue paper, or you could paint them. So I painted them head. They kind of look like little asparagi, whatever. So that's what I'm going to use. Now, the paint made them just a little stiffer, but not noticeably. I think they'll go on easier than the packing paper did. And the other thing is, I remembered another product I have that I have used for adhering things. I'm going to get Ben to pick up something for me. Will you hand me that tree over there that I've used collage medium for? It's really sticky, but it also it's nice in a jar, and I don't know if you can tell, it's very creamy. Okay, I made this tree a long time ago. I actually don't like the arms. They look kind of bad. That's why I've never shown it, never done a tutorial or anything. But I glued these mushrooms there, and they're very secure, and all the little leaves and everything. So I use that glossy accents, and it really does adhere things faster. So it's faster than Mod Podge. Mod Podge is what I used on my failure example. Okay, and I am going to put on gloves so I can get, so I don't have to wipe my hands quite as often. And you know, I'm very tactile. I like to just use my fingers. So what I'm going to do is kind of coat the back of it, coat the back of one of my tissue paper things, and let's just see if we can get it to stick down. This product also comes in a tube that you can squirt on. So let's see. Do some bigger blobs. Try to put it and see how it goes. I think Tiffany was saying it was her 50th birthday. She's a youngster. And I am going to smear the glass with the collage medium to make it a little opaque. So that is actually doing much better than my than my Mod Podge did. Let's coat the whole thing. It'll give it a little shine. And put a big blob at the bottom and a big blob at the top. I feel like pulling out my painter's tape. Mess level, I'm actually wearing a t-shirt and I'm wearing like my painter's pants. I think this is close to a 10. Paper mache is pretty much a 10. Even though I'm not using traditional paper mache stuff. Okay, so I guess what I'm going to do is get the bottom stuck down really well. And this is also paintable. And then I'll go back and glue down the tips. Really, those are the two places you want it to go. Okay, let's assume I'm putting my label in here. And I forgot to print up another label that my friend Presley did for me.
Roseanne asked what glue you're using.
This is Ranger's Collage Medium. Like I said, look how creamy it is. So you can see it's got more body than Mod Podge has. Okay, yeah, paper mache, pretty much a 10. Mess level 10. If I were to break a glass, yeah, that goes up even more. Could you do these on plastic bottles? I guess you could. I just don't think they look as good. So you kind of have to specifically buy glass bottles, which I like anyway. I try to reduce my plastic use if I can help it. Okay, there we go. Let's see if we can get this one down a little better. Bury it in the stuff. The other one I wanted to try is what I call glossy accents. That's a really cool product too. I use that when I want my windows to be kind of opaque, to look like wavy glass in old-timey buildings. Let's see if that one will stick now. Maybe two actually, I know, I'm going to fold it. We're going to pretend it has a score line. Roseanne said she would put them inside the bottle. Interesting. I never even thought about that. Okay. Yeah, this corner is a little too steep. Let's see if we can curve it a little more. Well, I'm so happy all you birthday girls and older people are here. Sometimes I think I have an older audience because what I do is pretty time consuming. And you kind of have to be retired to do it. You know, I did have a website and did some things while I was still working, but it was hard to, it was far more challenging. Okay, I think I got it sticking down now. So the other thing is you might want something so it kind of holds your bottle. And you might have to do it in steps. Okay, let's try a simple one. Oh, and I didn't show you how to make the little strips if you're going to do these. This is very similar to making what I call the twisted tree. Only I wrap them around wire so you can bend them And I thought about doing it for this, but I'm not sure it would have made it easier to adhere. And you could make these look like trees, but the idea for me was to make them look like vines. I thought that was a little creepier looking. Part of it is this bottle has like a rim here where it's not wanting to stick. Okay, we'll just stand here a minute. So happy to see everybody here. Roseanne, Helen, Vanessa, Debbie, Donna. I saw Amy Yukina is here. Today in the Spooktacular is probably the most dramatic project, and it's by Craft with Sarah. It's her Vulture Lantern, which is spectacular, just spectacular. So I hope you will be making that. Okay, there we go. Oops, I glued it to my, I popped it off. Yeah, you're gonna have to go a little at a time and just be patient. Just wait. Actually, probably a smoother bottle, because I think, let's try something. Let's try this little salt bottle. And let me try an unpainted one. It's flat here, so I might be able to get it. Let me kind of bend it. Yes, when I made my first one last night, I'm like, oh man, this is a craft project fail. All right, and the tissue paper helps. Doing it with tissue paper helps, but it doesn't totally solve the problem. It still has trouble sticking down. You know, I guess the solution is doing some hot glue so you don't have to wait so long, and you can curve it. And then you're going to still kind of smear it around and do some painting so your bottle will be kind of opaque. But it does help when the bottle is a flat surface. This bottle has multiple. It wasn't one of my favorite bottles. That's why I used it as a test bottle. But it's got a rim here, a rim here. It's kind of decorative there. So I think that's part of the problem. The plain, even if it was a curved side, it's basically flat. That sticks much better. Okay, so next I'm going to show you how to make the little vines. And you could use them on other things. You know, you could do them on a shadow box. If you had a book nook, you could use them on a book nook. Okay, let me move my paper towel out of the way. So, you know, paper has a grain to it. So I'm tearing in this direction. I don't really want it that long. And then basically just twist. Oh, Jackie says the VIP bonus owl lantern is even better. Honestly, I don't know how Sarah does her designs. See how easy it is? Just kind of twist this, but I do use a little bit of glue on the end, partly because I want it to be a sharp tip. So I just kind of dip my finger in. See, I couldn't even help get my finger sturdy. Yeah, Debbie said nothing is a failure, it's a learning curve. And that's exactly right. So sometimes I'll do something and then I'll realize what went wrong and I'll figure out a better way to do it. And I saw this a while back and decided to do potion bottles, but I didn't experiment until last night, and then it was pretty frustrating. So anyway, so I just kind of twisted them so they stay together, and just use a little bit of the glue. That helps. Jackie asked if Sarah showed a way to shrink the pattern. I think she shows you in the video how to shrink it to fit in the standard paper that we use in the US, 8.5 by 11. So I think she shows how to do that. I haven't seen the video because I've been like running around like a crazy person, but she said that she showed how to do that. She wrote it on her site, so for her American audience. Because the standard paper in Europe is slightly different. I think it's like it's something like 8.3 by 11. So there you go. So I wanted to show you that. I think that's it. Let's see. Let's see. Where was the one I did? Okay, this one definitely staying better. And even, yeah, I just popped that one off. So I really think the trick is to have a flat surface. Okay. That's the idea for today. You may be able to do it better than I can. I think it will work, but it requires patience, and it requires a little more patience than I have, or time that I have on a video. Not necessarily patience. Okay, let me get my wet paper towel. Switching cameras. Rotating this one away. Okay, so that is today. Like I said, it's kind of a craft failure, but you know, maybe it'll stimulate an idea and you're like, oh, I can do this with it. Or you know, you got your hot glue and you can just kind of paint a stripe, push it down with, you know, some silicone. You got this little silicone fingertips, and you can do it much easier. Oh, I know another thing you could do. You can just use the glue as the vines. You could use hot glue and paint the vine on it, and then you could kind of paint it or stain it or ink it. Yeah. Okay. Irene said that Sarah did show how to shrink the vulture. So, yeah, I asked her to do a vulture, and she's like, I don't know, that it may not stand up, but she did it, and it's beautiful. Okay, so like tomorrow, I'm going to try to mimic mirror glass because I think it'll look so good with some potion labels on front. And like I said, I saved the really pretty bottles. My really pretty bottles, so I can do that. So we'll see. Okay, is anyone have any questions? Yes, my phone is the internet, so I think it would be buffering. Yeah, I don't know why my internet is down. Yes, hope it be tomorrow. And then after that, I've got a few more things I want to make. Like I want to make some little book earrings. I just think they'll be so much fun. We made books last year. You can look up the live for making little books. This was my book for the Raven's Crest bookstore. I made a couple of them. Here's another one. And I really distressed the paper. I used, I think it was a newspaper. Old newspaper. That is Arachnology 101. I think it's backwards. Wait, let me see. Is that right? No, yeah, Arachnology 101. So it went like this because there was a spider hanging down. So I was thinking of just making some real lightweight earrings with some anatomy pictures inside and just doing a few pages so that they'd just be, you know, like an inch tall or something, so they'd be easy. So that's what I was thinking about later on. And then I have a house or two. Some people were saying there weren't many houses in the Spook-tacular this year, and that's true, partly because they take a long time. But I'm going to do I maybe one or two or three houses in the bonus files. Okay, alrighty. So I'm going to go. Barb said it was a fantastic video. It's like, wow,